Now I'll share with you information about our science program. It's a K-5 science curriculum written specifically for homeschool parents and children. The program is a complete curriculum with all the materials you need for a full year of science instruction. It builds a strong science foundation for children in the life sciences, physical sciences, and earth and space sciences. There are different focuses in different grades, but overall, through the program, there is a balance of life science, physical science, and earth and space sciences. Each level contains all the materials you need for teaching your child at home. It has the teacher's manual, a student copy of student materials. It has toolkit materials that you can see in the photo. It has resource books. So all the materials that you would need to teach your child, other than everyday household items, are included for you. All the planning is done for you. These are lessons that are planned with a conversation. You don't have to be a specialist in science. You don't have to have a background in science to be able to use the program. You don't have to have a teaching background to use the program. All of the lessons have been tested with parents in homeschool situations to make sure they work. The concept that we're teaching that day, each day there's one concept that is the focus of the lesson. It's very clear what the objective, what you're teaching, all the materials you need, what we provide, what is in the toolkit, what you need to do before a lesson. It is really what parents often say, open the box and go. So we have the entire conversation you'd have with your child, because that's an important piece of interacting with your child. You know your child. There is nothing better than you teaching your child. This is focused instruction through the year. We also include in the program a focus on reading and on helping your children develop reading skills, the questioning, the comprehension for each passage that you read. So I think you'd find this to be a good support and a good comfort as you start teaching homeschool. The program includes, as I said, the homeschool materials, the toolkit. The program emphasizes that children observe, explore, and conduct experiments. It includes opportunities to go outside and explore nature and the community around you. It focuses on the children and their experiences with materials. In each level, there are interactive student booklets. This is a sample of a second grade child's work from Science 2. There are 6 or 7 booklets for each level. The reading that you see here in the passages is done as a shared read, where the child reads or you read, and usually in K through 3, the parent would read, possibly in 4 and 5, Science 4 and 5, the child could read, but it's read aloud because it is, again, using multisensory approach where you see it, you say it, you hear it. So that really helps with retention. You'll notice that the child has used colored pencils for all of the recording, the drawings. That's very important because you want children to do their best work, and the ability to draw and depict and record things is much easier to do when you have a fine-tuned instrument like a colored pencil as opposed to crayons. Markers bleed through the page. So I highly recommend that people use the colored pencils. Beginning in Science 2, we also have children highlight important information. That's the piece of comprehension that is helpful for children to recognize what's the main idea in this passage. What is the information I need to remember? Parents find the booklets to be very helpful because it's a place to have all the information that's very accessible for children in one location. Also included in the program are independent research projects. This is an example of a project from Science 5 where they're researching an element. The recording forms are provided for you, so you have an element project description, you have any recording forms they need, and you have a scoring rubric. The emphasis in the projects is the children do the research, they do the writing, and they do an oral presentation. These independent research projects begin in Science 2. Experiments. Children are introduced to the steps in the scientific method beginning in Science 1. In Science 4 and 5, we have the formal presentation of the scientific method, but prior to that, as this example in Science 3, they're gradually filling in more information and collecting data, analyzing the data, and drawing conclusions. Another feature of the program is ongoing review. During lessons, you review prior learning, you review during the lesson, and you review at the end of the lesson. There's also review on lesson reviews, which follow the lesson. And this is an opportunity for your child to go back into the text and locate information. All of these are done using the text to confirm the answers. This is to be practice, and it's not intended as a quiz. To be practice, you really need to make sure they're practicing the correct information. Also, at the end of a topic, you'll have a study guide that children will go back into text and find the answers in the text and complete the study guide. This is great preparation for middle school and high school when they need to prepare their own study guides for assessments and tests. Each topic has 1 or 2 assessments and formal assessments. This is information that children should have mastered during the topic, during the lesson reviews, from lessons, the questioning you've asked there, from the study guide. There are no tricks on the assessment. All of the information that they'll be asked on the formal assessment are questions and information that you've presented and you've reviewed during the topic. It takes many children many repetitions to actually internalize new concepts and new vocabulary. We make sure that we have enough practice on all the topics in the lessons, in the study guides, in the reviews, that children actually gain a mastery of the content. You will also have online resources that you will be able to use with your child. You'll have a password, and the online resources for your level will have optional photos. It might have photos, it might have slideshows. You'll notice on the left side there is other options for you: science word wall, student word cards, a list of materials, literature connections, optional resources. The optional resources are external sites that we have found that relate to the lessons and are appropriate for children at the 4th grade level. So if you're interested in showing your children those, you might want to consider previewing those ahead of time. The next consideration is how you'll implement the program. The lessons build across the grade, so you'll need to do the lessons in order. You can't skip lessons because the content builds through the grade. It's also important to finish all the lessons in a grade because we don't repeat the same type of content in every grade. It's going to grow through the grades, and it's going to be topics that we continue to build on and background knowledge children will need. So if you're planning on doing this, how you pace it in your homeschool is up to you, whether you want to teach 2 days a week or 3 days a week or 5 days a week. That's up to you. Some parents like to teach and spread it out even further. The general guideline for time that it requires, your child teaching one-on-one, it might be faster. They may need more time. But this is just an overview of the general expectation. The program benefits. The first thing that's most important is all elementary school content is covered, and it exceeds, in fact, the next generation science standard. We have topics that aren't included in the next generation science standards, but are important for children. For example, the human body systems. It's important that children have exposure to and background knowledge about human body systems. That's not included anyplace. Simple machines. If you're interested in engineering and mechanical engineering, you need a background knowledge of those. Middle school and high school does not have time to go back and teach all the basics that they should have had in an elementary program. Children need to have a broad background. We start chemistry in 3rd grade, and children, if they do follow the program, they have the background knowledge needed for success in middle school and high school courses. For program information, you can go to our website. Science 4, for example, if you're interested in that, our website is at the bottom, www.nancylarsonpublishers.com. If you're interested in Science 4, you click on that and it'll take you to the view on the right. Click on that picture and it'll give you the information in more detail about Science 4. For ordering assistance, you can call our customer service number or email at homeschool@nancylarsonpublishers.com. Please don't hesitate to call. We'd be glad to help you. Best wishes for a wonderful homeschooling experience.